can stand up here. Do not repeat the same mistake as last time. Stand up here.
You sitting up here, you taking her sack.
Come on.
2 minutes later, she comes out of the back. She no longer looks like a Muslim. She has on a little shirt and some tights on, and she's walking up the aisle, hiking them up like this, so I can see her private parts, okay?
In front of my kids.
2 years you were sleeping with your wife's sister.
Yes.
Regularly?
Yes.
Often.
Without protection.
Without protection.
And that, the only thing I could think about doing was going to get a bottle of Henny, because it was on and popping now. There wasn't nothing else going on. I was not going to marry her.
You shut up. Do you feel like the baby has a resemblance to you or your family? Are you concerned about that?
I feel like we have certain features, but you can't just base it all off look.
They have the same chin.
First piece is
A chin. You see that chin? Look at their feet.
so you say their feet are alike.
Yeah.
Case 1, they returned once more. After 2 previous explosive hearings, Mr. Wallace is back in court. This time, it's another heated face-off with his 2 exes, Miss Austin and Miss Robert.
Ms. Austin, this is your 3rd time here in our courtroom with Mr. Wallace and Miss Roberts. Previously, you were here because Mr. Wallace questioned the paternity of your other child, but now you find yourself in the same situation.
The baby drama hasn't slowed down. Miss Austin demands answers about her second child's paternity and then shocks everyone by announcing she's pregnant yet again.
Since the last time we was here, everything started out okay, but we all knew that wasn't gonna last long. Roniel Wallace was still bouncing back from me and Kendrelyn. I had enrolled in school, but I never did go because I had got pregnant once again with Roniel, and she got pregnant with her baby, with her son. And as you can see now, once again, I'm pregnant again with my 3rd baby.
But Wallace refuses to believe her. He secretly placed spyware on her phone and insists he discovered messages to multiple men, fueling his suspicions.
Because she's very promiscuous. When we was together, I had installed, it was like spyware on her phone. They would duplicate her text messages and call log and send a copy to my email. And again, for about the 5th, 6th time, I called her texting different men.
Well, where your proof at? I never saw it.
The courtroom spirals into chaos. Wallace hurls accusations, she fires back, and soon both women are shoving at each other until security steps in to remove one.
That's what you do.
You and the Lord know you a slut.
No, you're
Hold on.
You're a slut.
I don't.
We are going to speak to women respectfully in the courtroom. You press yourself.
If I'm dead, so why you keep on sleeping with me? Why? Why? I'm pregnant again. Why?
Easy access.
Say that about
All
her.
right.
Yeah.
His hypocrisy is jaw-dropping. Wallace openly brags about his affairs, but swears he will never forgive her if she steps out of line.
You would being promiscuous, and I'm not gonna tolerate that.
So basically, Mr. Wallace, you can sleep around, but your women can't.
Austin comes prepared. She lays out side-by-side comparisons of her child's features, pointing out the striking similarities to Wallace, even down to the baby's chin and feet.
Do you feel like the baby has a resemblance to you or your family? Are you concerned about that?
I feel like we have certain features, but you can't just base it all off look.
They have the same chin. You see that chin? Look at their feet.
So you say their feet are alike.
Yeah.
Wallace fires back with his own bizarre analogy. He claims just because someone resembles a suspect in a lineup doesn't automatically make them guilty.
It's just like you go to a police lineup. They put you in there with 6 other men who look just like you.
And you got picked out of it. So
you
he
can't
was
just
just
go off
like you.
looks.
Tensions flare again when Wallace clashes with the judge. He accuses her of favoritism and even threatens to storm out of court for the 2nd time.
I'm just agitated.
You feel agitated?
Yes. Bull crap performance she put on. Well, I need to walk out.
Roniel, don't walk out again. You can stand up here. Do not repeat the same mistake as last time. Stand up here.
You sitting up here, you taking her
Come
sack.
on.
Now all eyes are on the verdict. Will Wallace be proven the father once more, or will his endless accusations finally shatter his tangled web of denial?
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Wallace, you are Ronell's father.
The other man that's in question was, if you recall earlier when I said I pulled up in the cab, that's one of the men that was on the step.
No, he wasn't.
When I left that Sunday, he was in the area. He was basically going in the house while I was coming out, leaving to go back to Philadelphia.
I didn't even meet him.
Case 2. This courtroom saga begins with a bizarre marriage claim. Miss Brown insists they tied the knot, but when asked for proof, she casually admits, "I tore up the paperwork."
We were married. He lies, and he will lie and say that we wasn't, but we were. He lies about everything, Your Honor.
Who married us?
What paperwork? I ripped it up.
Was the email?
I ripped it up.
Her version of events only gets stranger. She argues that the marriage was done over the phone before they had ever laid eyes on each other, supposedly due to her faith.
We don't court. We meet, we get married. That's how it goes.
You can have intimacy with somebody.
Yes, ma'am.
You have to be married.
Yes, ma'am.
And was this before you actually met him in person?
Yes.
So you marry over the phone, which means you commit yourself to one another. This is not a legal marriage like we think about through the state.
He paints a completely different picture of their first meeting. According to him, she greeted him in a skimpy top and tights, trying to entice him with suggestive moves.
We inboxed back and forth. She was living in a shelter at the time. She was about to move into her apartment. She said, come down so we can meet. When I walked in, she said 2 minutes later, she comes out of the back. She no longer looks like a Muslim. She has on a little shirt and some tights on, and she's walking up the aisle, hiking them up like this, so I can see her private parts, okay?
In front of my kids.
He says after that display, the idea of marriage went out the window. Instead, he grabbed a bottle of honey, and the relationship quickly turned physical. It lasted only 2 days.
The only thing I could think about doing was going to get a bottle of Henny, because it was on and popping now. There wasn't nothing else going on. I was not going to marry her.
You shut up. Can I talk, Your Honor?
You go from meeting the Muslim woman of your dreams to a bottle of Henny, and it's on and popping?
She was trying to get popped off. That's it. She gave me temptation.
But what we all...
Hiking up with the thing. Did I see that?
But the pregnancy timeline makes everything murky. Brown confesses she had been intimate with another man just 3 days before discovering she was expecting.
6 weeks after.
6 weeks after. And how soon after that did you find out you were pregnant?
When I found out I was pregnant, I was 6 weeks and 3 days. I had sex with another man 3 days before I found out I was pregnant.
Wallace insists that proves his innocence. He recalls arriving at her place for their brief fling and seeing that very man already loitering on her front porch.
Your Honor, the other man that's in question was, if you recall earlier when I said I pulled up in the cab, that's one of the men that was on the step.
No, he wasn't.
When I left that Sunday, he was in the area. He was basically going in the house while I was coming out, leaving to go back to Philadelphia.
I didn't even meet him then.
Later, things get even more suspicious. That same man appears all over Brown's Facebook, smiling in family photos with the baby. Is he the real father or just a stepdad figure?
When I call back, she says her boyfriend is here. The boyfriend is the man that she's talking about, which is the same man that's on her Facebook profile picture with
Your
the
Honor.
baby. Family collage
Your Honor.
of this same man. That's the reason I knew who this man was, is because I seen his face on Facebook
You
in
never
that family
saw him.
collage.
Then Brown drops a heavy accusation she claims Wallace wished harm on her child once he found out about the pregnancy. He flatly denies it.
He's the scum underneath her shoe. He wished
You know why I've never
he
seen
wished
Your Honor?
death on my
You know why
child,
I've
called
never
her
seen
ugly.
What?
The tension spikes when text messages are exposed. Wallace had written sweet notes calling her his wife and even thanking her for carrying my baby.
Submitted text messages that say the following. Mr. Shinoster says, good-looking husband, beautiful wife, was good-looking baby. I'm just saying I love you and thanks you. Miss Brown, you respond, I love you too. Why are you thanking me? Laugh out loud. Mr. Shinoster says, for carrying my child.
His excuse? He shrugs it off, saying that's simply how he talks to women. Judge Lake isn't buying it and calls him out for lying, leading him to throw a fit.
I did entertain the thought of the baby being mine.
Entertain the thought.
I did entertain
Let me
it.
tell you something. That's not a thought.
It
That's
is
a
thought.
message.
That is a thought, Your Honor. I'm gonna tell you, it is a thought, because I've seen...
No. We gonna stay on this point. Beautiful wife equals good looking babies. That's some math we know about in this courtroom.
Finally, the envelope with the DNA results is in Judge Lake's hands. Will this whirlwind 48-hour fling turn out to be the father, or does the truth point to the man in those Facebook family photos?
Has been determined by this court. To Shinoster, you are the father.
When I was like in high school, I got a message on MySpace from Lakeisha. Just a long little thing saying, I think you're my stir, and I'm just like, who is this girl? I just thought she was crazy.
Case 3. This family drama is pure chaos. Mr. Griffin secretly carried on a 2-year relationship with his wife's stepsister, and now he believes their daughter Tika is his child.
Mr. Griffin, you were a married man who had a 2-year affair with your wife's stepsister, the defendant. You say that relationship produced a daughter, but Miss Richmond claims you are not her daughter's biological father.
But Sheila, the mother, suddenly flips the story. Even though she admits she was with Griffin regularly and never used protection, she now insists he isn't the father.
Miss Richmond, you admit to the affair with Mr. Griffin, but say you are positive the plaintiff is not your daughter's biological father, and you plan to prove that in court today. So for 2 years, you were sleeping with your wife's sister?
Yes.
Regularly?
Yes.
Often.
Without protection?
Without protection.
Griffin recalls the only moment he saw the baby. He lifted little Tika toward the light and thought, yeah, she might be mine, but then walked away and stayed silent for 30 years.
He said yes, right off. He came over to my house and he picked her up and he went up on the stairs and he, put her up to the light and he said, yeah, she could be mine.
The twist? Sheila confesses she was also sleeping with 2 other men during the same period. That means Tika could have 3 possible fathers.
I did tell him that I was pregnant, but also I did tell him he was the father, but at the time he also knew I was, with other people also, and he was a married man, so, and I'm sure he was with other people too, so I was with 2 other guys.
So you are admitting that during the window of conception, you were also sleeping with other men?
Yes, Your Honor.
Tika's shocking discovery came years later. Griffin's other daughter stumbled across her name on child support paperwork and reached out on MySpace saying, I think you're my sister.
Probably when I was in high school, I got a message on MySpace from Lakeisha. Just a long little thing saying, I think you're my stir, and I'm just like, who is this girl? I just thought she was crazy because...
Confusion deepens with the DNA test. Sheila claims the results ruled him out. Griffin swears the test proved he was the father. Yet strangely, the county has no record of any test at all.
Bring that to you, Your Honor. When I moved to Wisconsin with her when she was almost 2, and we took a paternity test at that time. I went on and did the child support, and she told me that, that proves that he's not the father. So do you have another name to give me?
So you were told he was not the father?
Yes.
All right.
A heartbreaking detail surfaces. Tika's husband tragically drowned on the very same day the Griffin family held a wedding event she chose not to attend.
The other sisters, Griffin sisters, her wedding, May 21st, 2011, and she invited me and my husband. I don't know, and then I talked to the other people, like my sister and my mom. They I don't think they're your family, so why would you go all the way to Michigan to a wedding? So we did not go, and that was the day he died.
Now, everything rests on the judge's decision. Will Griffin be confirmed as Tika's biological father, or is another man from Sheila's hidden past about to emerge?
Mr. Griffin, you are not her father. 32 years of thinking you were this woman's father.
Because I still believe that he is not hers. She was conceived in March 2011. He wasn't even in the same state. He was in Vegas. And at that time in March, I wasn't even...
Case 4 Miss Miller is determined to cut this devoted father out of her daughter's life, insisting he isn't the biological dad. She wants him completely erased from the picture.
Miller, you're here to prove to your ex-boyfriend, Scotty Rasmussen, that he is not the father of your 3-year-old daughter, Zaylee Rasmussen. You claim you've been in an ongoing court battle over custody and have petitioned the court several times for a DNA test, all of which have been denied.
Why would she do that? According to him, it's simple she despises him because he cheated right before their breakup.
Why is Ms. Miller saying you're not Zaylee's father?
Your Honor, I believe it's just out of pure hatred.
You say she hates? Why does she hate you?
She hates me because at the end of the relationship, when things got rocky, I'll admit it, I did go to another woman.
But Miller swears it has nothing to do with infidelity. She claims he only fights for custody to score a tax break, not because he truly cares.
He says this is about visitation, too. He loves his daughter, but you don't want him to have the visitation. Is that true?
Yes, Your Honor.
Why is that?
Because I believe that the only reason why he wants the visitation is to claim her on his taxes.
Her biggest argument centers on timing. She says he was partying in Las Vegas during the conception window while she was seeing another man.
Why is it you don't want him involved in this child's life?
Because I still believe that he is not hers. When she was conceived in March of 2011. He wasn't even in the same state. He was in Vegas. And at that time in March, I wasn't even with him.
He counters that story, saying he didn't even know another guy existed until months later when she blindsided him with the claim in court.
I believed I was, and still believe, I was the only biological father until about 5 or 6 months or so, give or take, after she was born. We were talking to the family court commissioner about custody and the things that go along with that, like where she'd be going to school, her doctor, and all that. Miss Miller brings it up, I could possibly not be the father because of another man that was involved.
Then comes his dramatic version of the birth. He describes driving 45 miles in heavy snow, racing to the hospital, and even risking his job just to be there for his child.
My job as a cashier said she was going into labor. My immediate supervisor said, hey, I gotta go, my girlfriend's in labor. And I drove about 45 miles through a winded, wooded road in Wisconsin in December, mind you, so it was about a foot of snow on the ground. I beat her to the hospital. Called my boss at work and said, hey, I gotta take some days off. I don't care, fire me or whatever, but I gotta stay here. My daughter's being born.
She flat out denies that touching story. In her version, he sat in the hospital room glued to his computer, barely acknowledging the delivery.
That's a lie. After she was born...
That was an amazing story. You say that was a lie?
Yes, it is. While I was in labor, he was sitting on one of those hospital cot beds on his computer in the corner, not paying attention to me, in his own little bubble.
Ms. Miller, that he was excited about this beautiful little girl being born?
I really didn't see much excitement.
You did?
No.
So why would she ever let him sign the birth certificate? At the time, they were engaged until his own friend exposed him for sleeping around with multiple women.
You let him sign the birth certificate?
I gave my daughter my last name.
Because we were engaged, and I thought we were going to get married. I thought we were going to have a happy life, our daughter together, until about 3 months after she was born, one of his friends told me everything that he was doing throughout our entire relationship, cheating on me.
Noor adds that the other possible father is nowhere to be found. She says he vanished without a trace, changing his number and disappearing from her life.
Where's this other possible father?
I'm not even quite sure. After we broke up, he changed his number, he moved, he pretty much disappeared. I have tried to find him, I have tried to get a hold of him, and I can't find him.
Now the courtroom holds its breath. The judge opens the envelope for Zale. Will this man's proud father story be validated or crushed in an instant?
Has been determined by this court. Mr. Rasmussen, you are not father. So, Ms. Smith, who do you believe the father is?
I think it's her husband, Mr. McCrory.
No, it's not. You believe that the child's real biological father is her current husband, Mr. McCrory, and you believe this is a plot. This is a conspiracy between the two of them to try to get the survivor's benefit.
Case 5. This unusual case kicks off with Miss May Croy, insisting her late lover, Mr. Bailey, is the real father of her daughter. Her motive? To secure Social Security survivor benefits.
Ms. McCrory, you and your husband claim the defendant's ex-husband, Mr. Gino Bailey, who recently passed away, fathered your 3-year-old daughter, Nevaeh. You say you will return to court for your share of Social Security death benefits after...
But Bailey's ex-wife, Ms. Smith, fiercely disagrees. She argues it's biologically impossible because Bailey suffered from a rare genetic condition that made conceiving a child nearly impossible.
In your court papers, you also say that it is medically impossible for Ms. McCrory's child to be your sibling.
He had a medical condition that was to do with the XY chromosome. If he had gotten someone pregnant, it could end up as a miscarriage.
MC Croy clings to her memory as evidence. She vividly recalls their intimate night together, even describing the flowered brown sheets where she says they were together 3 times.
And there was no one else in the picture. Do you remember the night you believe conceived?
Yes. I mean, there was brown sheets with flowers and everything, and we did it like all night long, 3 times.
Yet, her testimony takes a sharp turn. She labels Bailey a womanizer, even suggesting there's another child out there from one of his many secret affairs.
Found out you were pregnant and informed.
Yeah, after we kind of like drifted apart because I wasn't going to be with a male whore. I'm sorry to say it that way, but that's what he was.
And one of his relatives even said growing up they called him male gigolo, and there's even another child saying that he's her father out there.
The ex-wife then drops a bombshell of her own. She insists the real father is actually MC Croy's current husband, and that this whole claim is a scheme to pocket Bailey's benefits.
Who do you believe the father is?
I think it's her husband, Mr. McCrory.
No, it's not.
You believe that the child's real biological father is her current husband, Mr. McCrory, and you believe this is a plot. This is a conspiracy between the two of them to try to get the survivor's benefits.
Complicating matters further, the husband's name is on the birth certificate. He explains. He signed it because Bailey refused to, stepping in to raise the child as his own.
Crory, Who's on the birth certificate?
My husband.
I took responsibility because he didn't want to.
You're not his one and only. He said that. I don't want to be involved because my daughter's gonna be 18. I have to pay child support.
He had to pay child support till he was 21.
Well, that's what he told me.
Child's name, Nevaeh McCrory, and father's name is listed as Keith McCrory. Now, Mr. McCrory, you said you stepped up.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Interestingly, the husband also recalls Bailey once admitting the child shared his eyes and facial features evidence he claims that Bailey acknowledged paternity.
You all were dating.
We were dating. He knew that he was the father because there was several times I met him in a drugstore and ran into him, and he's sitting there saying, "Oh, she's got my eyes," and smirking at me. "Oh, she's got my fang. She looks just like me."
But the drama spills outside the courtroom. A Facebook feud is uncovered where the MC Croys posted shady messages on Bailey's memorial page, taunting his grieving family.
I decided to go onto the memorial page, message the administrators, is me, myself, and my son-in-law. This is just some of the stuff that they text or wrote to me.
You did for your dad once he passed away. And then you got messages that said from the McCrorys, listen, not daddy's only little girl, newsflash.
Mr. McCroy confesses he wrote the cruel posts himself. His excuse? He wanted revenge for the way Bailey's family treated his wife. The feud only deepened the family rift.
We've been harassed for years. She would make fake profiles of my wife and my stepdaughter.
So in other words, doing this to get back at her.
I mean, yeah, I'm gonna get angry.
Right, so don't testify in the beginning that you were doing it because you were so happy for her to meet her little sister. That's a lie.
The first DNA test is for the husband. After years of accusations and petty online battles, will science finally prove if he's the father of the child he's raised?
Determined by this court, Mr. McCrory, you are not the father.
Thank you.
Told you.
Then comes the ultimate question about Bailey. Could this child truly be his from beyond the grave? Or is there yet another hidden man in McCroy's tangled past?
It has been determined by this court that Nevaeh McCrory and Sierra Marie Mento are not related.
Yes.
Told you.
Yes, told you.